Hi everyone, I'm Chyill and welcome back to another Battlerite discussion video. Today we'll be talking about Battlerite on the Xbox platform. A few days ago during the Xbox panel at the E3 conference, there was a little video that they showed, and during that video it's sort of like a lot of highlights of different games that were featured, sort of for Xbox and all that. And during halfway through the video there was a short clip of like some Battlerite gameplay and all that. And so what this sort of means is that this is like a little announcement of sorts for Battlerite being on the Xbox platform. So this came as quite a bit of a surprise to many people because like Battlerite is such a fast-paced game which you will play on like a mouse and keyboard. And when you try to actually play it with a controller, because like you need very precise movements of your mouse, right, to aim and to heal or cast your abilities and all that, it felt like it was like playing it on a controller for the Xbox would be a little slow. Not only will it be a little slow, but like by slow I mean like gameplay wise, like you're also not as precise with your aiming as compared to like a mouse and keyboard. So most people like were saying, how is this even possible? How can you be playing a game like Battlerite on the Xbox controller? So sure enough, some people have already tested this. They hooked up the Xbox controller and tried to play Battlerite with the controller. So I believe like yesterday I was watching a streamer, he was doing that. I believe he's like grand champion level, and so he was like he connected up his Xbox and he was playing Battlerite on the PC against other players using mouse and keyboard while he was using like an Xbox controller. And so sure enough, like it was tough to really like land all the shots like as consistently as he would like. Certainly from a grand champion player, he'll be like very good at hitting all the stuff. So certainly like he is a good player, right? And his game sense and everything is still there for Battlerite, but of course mechanically, like using a controller is just not the same as using a mouse and keyboard. But even then, actually, he actually did fairly well even with a controller. I mean, most of it was probably due to like his game sense as a grand champion player in the game, of course. But even then, also like certain champions, he can still play decently well with a controller. Of course, like support champions might be a bit tough since you need to heal your teammates, but in general I think even like melee champions seems to work okay. Range champions are alright as well, but you just need to aim a little bit more actually. So in general, actually, it is viable, it is possible, as long as like you set up your controller well, like the keybinds and everything, like what button to press to activate what abilities and all that, to use your EX abilities, and like to also to have your self cast, because like especially for support champions you need to heal yourself and also heal your teammate, right? And it's not very feasible to move between yourself and your teammates to heal all the time. So having the self-cast modifier is like pretty important for playing on an Xbox controller. So those were like sort of the kind of things that happened the past few days in terms of this whole Xbox and Battlerite thing. The point of this video, for like the point of me making this video, is I just wanted to discuss a little bit about pros and cons of such a thing, of this. Basically this announcement of, hey, Battlerite is going to be on Xbox. So far nothing concrete has been revealed, like what's the release date, like how the controls are going to be like, or what are their thoughts on cross-platform and all this kind of stuff. But what I wish to actually tackle and talk about in this video is just my thoughts on this whole thing basically. Of course, we still need more information of like what's to come for this whole Battlerite on Xbox thing, but for now, as of the recording of this video, we don't know anything yet. But this is just speculation and what I think about the issue. So to start off, I'll just talk a bit about some pros of having Battlerite on the Xbox. So basically what I feel about it is that most, I won't say most, but certainly the number of players on the PC platform as a whole, like not just talking about Battlerite, but like PC as a whole, is of course increasing. There's still a large amount of players who play games on like PlayStation and Xbox. You know, they are still a very sizable player base, you know what I mean. And so a game like Battlerite coming out on the Xbox is, I think, a very good publicity, because like more people will know about the game. So right now, because Battlerite is just mostly a PC game, if you go up to a general gamer that, you know, just mostly just doing his own thing with Xbox or like PlayStation, they may or may not know about Battlerite. So a game such as this coming out on Battlerite is certainly a little bit more publicity, like more people will know about the game, and this in turn will cause more players to play the game, and perhaps they might find out about, hey, there's actually a PC version and it's like so much easier to play on the PC version. And if they really enjoyed the game, playing it on the Xbox, they might consider playing it on the PC. So certainly, like having more players, whether it's in the Xbox platform or the PC platform, is good for the community as a whole. You know, it doesn't matter whether you play on Xbox or PC, you play the same game. People can discuss strategies and tips, you know, for either side, you know, either platform. And so I think this is good as a whole for the community, basically, because like you have more thought-provoking discussions, you have more engaging tips and strategies that people can come up with for either platform of the game. So I think that's pretty good. Furthermore, having a larger player base, so you know, if you imagine like a lot of players come in and play it on the Xbox, even whether you play it on the Xbox or the PC, having a larger player base means that like you also have better esports potential. So even though you play on the Xbox, you might still want to watch like Battlerite tournaments on the PC, right? So this might make it more appealing for investors and sponsors and all this to sponsor tournaments for Battlerite. So I think that's a good thing, since there is so much more people watching regardless of the platform, basically. So I think those are like all the pros, or at least what I think are the pros for such a move, basically, putting Battlerite into Xbox. But moving on, we have some of the cons as well. As with anything, there are pros and cons. So some of the cons is that Battlerite is being developed by Stunlock Studios, and the team itself, I believe they mentioned it's around like 30 to 40 people, which is not really that big, considering they are trying to have like a PC platform and an Xbox platform. Like the development team's focus will have to be split between the two, and it might be hard for a small team. Like I don't know what are their how are they splitting their resources, basically, to develop both sides of the thing, both sides of Battlerite, since it's probably, you know, quite different developing a game for PC and developing a game for Xbox. Even though you have the base game already, like I'm pretty sure like all the codes and stuff that goes into each side of the game is quite different. So it really depends on how much resources they are putting on either side. So I mean, my hope is that they can, you know, plan it well, execute it well, basically, and make it so that there's still a steady stream of content that flows out through to, you know, the PC version and like the Xbox version, of course. There are many games that have all these, you know, multi-platform and stuff, although there's no cross-platform gameplay, but they have to cater to both sides of the crowd. So like if you watch my channel, you know I play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege. I know I don't do videos on Overwatch, but I play Overwatch as well. And for these two games, for example, like Overwatch especially, Blizzard had to like have different patches for both sides, because like certain champions or certain heroes on Overwatch are more overpowered in the console compared to like the PC, because like the PC players have mouse and keyboard and they're better at aiming, and so certain heroes are better in PC compared to the consoles. So, you know, it might be hard for a small team to juggle both sides. Certainly also like when they want to release any patch into like for console games, they need to go through like Microsoft or like Sony and stuff like that, so it might take longer for patches to come out, which is not really ideal. So it really just depends on how they pull it off, how they implement it. So yeah, I consider it a con because like it really needs a lot of management and a lot of teamwork within their development team to sort of make everything flow nicely, I guess. So I have high hopes for them, but you know, they have to pull it off well, is what I think. Next up, another con I think is that if there is cross-platform play, which is unlikely, but we need to wait for more details, of course, is that there will be a large skill disparity between like the PC side of things and the Xbox side of things. So by cross-platform, I mean like, you know, if you're playing on the PC, you can play against like Xbox players. I think that it's highly unlikely that this would happen because like it's just difficult to manage, you know what I mean? Certainly there may still be some better Xbox players, like maybe let's say you play on Xbox, right, and you're like Diamond, Champion League or something. Certainly they can beat players who are using the mouse and keyboard. Maybe they are like in Silver or Gold League or something, you know. But players at roughly equal skill levels, so like let's say a Diamond on the PC and a Diamond on the Xbox, if you put them together, certainly the mouse and keyboard players will have a bigger advantage compared to like the Xbox controllers ones. So I think it'll be too complicated and too difficult to manage a sort of a cross-platform system for such a game. You know, it's not like a game like Hearthstone or something, which, you know, your dexterity doesn't matter. You know, you can have people playing on the phone or an iPad against people playing on the computer. Why? Because it's a card game, you know. A game like this, having cross-platform play is really difficult. And yeah, I don't think they will have it, but if they do, they will really need to find a good way of dealing with it, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it just like, I mean, there's Rocket League, right, on PC and also on the PS4. But most people who play Rocket League on the PC will know that it's almost impossible to play on the keyboard, and so they'll be using a controller anyways. So for a game like that, it makes sense, you know, you can use a controller for that on the PC. But to use like mouse and keyboard on the console, certainly I believe it can be done. I'm not too sure. I don't have a console myself, but you know, you can't just tell, hey, console players, go get yourself a mouse and keyboard and play with us, you know, cross-platform and all that. It doesn't work that way. People who play on the consoles are like, you know, they're typically in their living room and they're like so far away from the screen and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a bit tough for a game like Battlerite to have cross-platform. But we'll see what like Stunlock Studios have in store, and hopefully they can manage and implement this whole thing very well. Then in that case, I think it's probably a good thing. My views on this is that I'm very optimistic. I am very positive about this. So, you know, as long as they implement it right, I think I'll be quite happy with it. Like, for the reasons that I stated before, like, you know, about the pros of why having Battlerite on the Xbox is actually a pretty good thing. And so yeah, that's about it for this video. I just sort of wanted to share my thoughts on this with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed like the clips that I'll have, I think here, up here maybe, as I was talking. And so yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Of course, you know, like, comment, subscribe, the sort of stuff. You guys know it. Every YouTuber says that, you know, subscribe, blah blah blah. And so until next time guys, have a great day, keep gaming, stay chill, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.